Go Blue! Welcome to episode 125. I know Trey Day is loving that. Well, welcome to episode 125. All right,
no, if you open the show with Go Blue, I'm going to keep hanging up. So we're not opening the show with Go Blue.
I'll continue the show.
I will continue my night. If we don't open the show with Go Blue, I'm going to keep cutting you off the entire show. You didn't even get to say a single word. It's going to be a long episode.
It's going to be a long show. It is week 0 of college football, but it is episode 125 of Cinco Squad, where we will determine a champion tonight. Or will it be a tie? Or will it be a champion? Who knows? But welcome to episode 125 of Cinco Squad. College football is back. NFL is 2 weeks away. MLB season is coming down to the crunch, and we are here. So welcome in Mike DeSanto, Trey Day, and Grandpa Jay, and I am your host, Jonathan Sawyer. Fellas, welcome to another great week of Cinco Squad. How's your week going?
Good. It's going really well. I just wanted to, before we get into our topics, give a great shout out to the love of Jamie's life, the love of Grandpa Jay's life. Happy 105th birthday to Sister Jean.
There we go.
My homegirl.
I was like, where are we going?
I had that note too. My homegirl's 105th birthday. You know, our sister-in-law, Jamie's wife, Sister Jean.
I was wondering where he was going with this. I was like, you guys live together now, so what the fuck's going on here?
Well, Sister Jean lives there too, actually.
Yeah. She in the bathroom. Jamie left her in there.
I have yet to find proper earplugs. I'm not gonna lie.
Fellas, college football is back this week. People don't count it because it's week 0, but it is back. We got Florida State playing, I think, Georgia Tech in Dublin, Ireland, and in the I don't know what stadium they're playing in, but they got College Game Day is back this Saturday. I'm excited for football. We got Nevada playing, I think, SMU, which could be a good game. A lot of great football matchups next week. But are you guys going to watch the college football this weekend?
Yes. Absolutely. It's football. It's, as I said last week with the NFL, it's college football. I'm going to watch college football. Like, it's back. I don't care what anybody says week 0 counts. Maybe not for everybody because only like 3 games are happening, but that game's going to be big. I'm excited for that game.
I'll be honest. They need to put a better game in Dublin, though. Like, I don't care what you're saying. Like, I would just put a good game. I mean, Florida State's going to roll Georgia Tech. Notre Dame last year rolled whoever they played. Like, just put a good game, good matchup. It's not a waste of time.
But your college probably doesn't want to go send your team there. Just the amount of money it's going to cost the college. You got to send over 100 players plus coaches, all that type of stuff. That's a lot of stuff. Then when you get back, you got to reset. Like, I wouldn't personally want my team to be there, and my team's a good team. Yeah. Can't say that for all those people.
Here are the lines for this weekend. Florida State, 10.5-point favorite. Montana State is actually an 11.5-point favorite over New Mexico, surprisingly, and they're the road team. SMU, 25-point favorite over Nevada. And then we have a Sunday game in Hawaii, who happens to be 39-point favorites over Delaware State.
Well, it's a Sunday, but it's a Saturday night game.
Yeah.
Right. It rolls to Sunday.
Here comes Saturday night. There's only 1 minute left. Here comes Saturday.
Here's a fun fact about that game is Delaware State missed their flight.
Yeah, they're not playing.
Oh, geez.
So they may not be playing that game.
They're not playing that game, most likely.
Ain't nobody going to watch that damn game anyway.
I mean, that's a 10.5-hour flight that they got to make, and I don't know. I'm good. But
no, but that's the thing about what you said.
Let's go week 1. Week 0. See ya. We're done with
it's still college football. At the end of the day, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna watch College Game Day. I'm gonna enjoy McAfee on there, Reese Davis, Kirk Herbstreit, and now newly Nick Saban's on the desk. So replacing the one and only what's his name?
Lee Corso.
Lee Corso. So
I swear it's like Hard Knocks is not the same. And the reason I'm saying this is because the McCaskey family, they don't want any cussing in Hard Knocks. So if you notice this year when you watch Hard Knocks, they are basically blanking out all the cussing from the Bears. I get it. Y'all don't want swearing, and that's fine. But what happened to authenticity? What is the purpose of the show? Isn't the show the purpose to be authentic? When you start to take that away, then we start to put on a fake facade. So we're going to act like this isn't how a locker room really is. This is how a locker room is. Some guys cuss, some guys don't, but let's be authentic. You got a guy like Reggie White, the minister of defense. You may have a guy like Andrew Luck. He's out here giving compliments every time he's being sacked, and that's authentic. But we also got guys who, like a Ray Lewis or a Shannon Sharp, who will just run their mouth and, basically got a potty mouth. But let's not try to mask that. Let's not hide that. Let's show these guys actually are. Isn't that the whole purpose NFL of Hard Knocks? To actually try to make you feel like you actually know these guys, even though we don't know these guys. That's your end game. That's your purpose. I mean, I see some people in the comments, and they're talking about, oh, this is a workplace. This ain't no damn workplace. Stop acting like it's a workplace. This ain't your fucking accounting firms you work at where we go in, we put on the tie. This is a football field. We got to be authentic, and that just is what it is. So I don't give a fuck about them trying to sit here and block the cursing. Motherfuckers cuss, and that's just what this is. Dudes out here going to be knocking heads off each other, basically running the walls, creating car crashes from 60 minutes away, and y'all think the biggest issue is because somebody wants to cuss? Get the fuck out of here.
But we got college football coming in, which means we have to determine who is our champions of the league already, right? So we're going to go through the team. We're going to go through the conferences, the four most important, then we're going to pick a non-conference team we're going to highlight in each of us. But Trey Day, I'm going to take it over to you because this was your topic. Let's throw it over to you to kind of start us off. Who do you want to start with?
Big Ten. Let's go, fellas.
Of course.
You going to hang up? Go.
Where else will we
I'm going to say it.
Where else will we start than the most important team in college football this season? So, each time we'll go around, we'll pick different conferences, and we'll pick whoever we think is going to be the champion of said conference. Remember that we don't have a Pac-12 anymore. I mean, it's two, whatever you want to count it. We're not counting them as a major conference because that is not a conference. So we'll start with the Big Ten, and we'll go around. Big Ten champ. Jay, who do you got? Let's start with you.
Well, my brothers out there in Nike Town seem to be getting it right because they brought in a really good transfer quarterback by the name of Dylan Gabriel. And since Mr. Gabriel has entered the building, they now have their guy that will lead them to their inaugural Big Ten title. So I am going with the Oregon Ducks mainly because they have the leader that they needed to replace. We know how good Bo Nix was in that position last season. I think they have their guy. A lot of talk as well. Can he play in cold environments? And let the guy ball. He'll show you. I got the Ducks to win the Big Ten.
John, go ahead.
You know I'm going with my boys in Ann Arbor. Trey about to leave right now, so go blue. Let's get it. Michigan Wolverines going to defend that for the third straight time or fourth straight time.
I cannot honestly believe that.
Fourth straight time.
I cannot honestly believe that.
I can honestly believe that because when I'm looking at their schedule, I mean, yes, they have to play Texas. They have to play USC. USC is a big question mark on that schedule with what team is going to show up in Southern California. Obviously, got Oregon at home, which I like to favor. Got to go to number 2 Ohio State, which will probably be number 2 Ohio State when we get to that time frame at that time. But I'm taking my boys. The defenses didn't lose that much off of last year's team. I mean, highlighted by Will Johnson, who's going to be more of a hybrid player this year, as well as Mason Graham, who had probably one of the best games of his career against Alabama in the Rose Bowl and in the national championship game. Got Rod Moore returning. You got Loveland as a tight end. I like Alex Orji as a quarterback. He looked good when he came in for McCarthy last year when he was playing when we were up, 40 points on teams. But, ultimately I have confidence in him more than I hope it's not the Joe Milton situation all over again because that was pretty sad when Joe Milton came in and it was like he couldn't throw a 5-yard pass. But I think Alex Orji can get the job done. I think the offense is going to be led by Donovan Edwards and Loveland. So the offensive line regrouped, lost a few key guys off the defensive secondary. But I think this team is ready to go. Got a tough schedule. I'm not going to lie. I mean, this team could lose 2 games, but still make it to the Big Ten. Because if you remember now, the Big Ten championship is now determined by the first and second team. There's no more there's no more sides anymore. So it's straight up. If you're number 2 and you're number 1, like if Michigan's number 1 and Ohio State's number 2, they're going to play each other in the Big Ten championship or whatnot. So I feel like they can be the top team. I think Oregon is going to slip up at some point throughout the season, whether that's against Ohio State, whether it's against – I think they play Penn State on the road at Penn State. I think that will probably be the whiteout game. Let me take a look here at Penn State.
Ohio State's going to be the whiteout game.
Oregon's got to go to Michigan. That's going to probably be a night game. They got to go to Wisconsin. Wisconsin could be the game that messes them up. Wisconsin feels like that team that's this year is going to. What I was saying on the Herb and Rod show is that team. It just seems like it's their year. Right? You know, Wisconsin always has one of those years where they come out of nowhere and win 8-9 games, and it's like, what the hell? Where'd that come from, right? So that's where they got to go, and I feel like Oregon's going to slip up in the Big Ten, and then they got to go. You know, USC. I'm not confident right now in that team right now. They're supposed to be a dominant team last year, never got it off the ground, never really could get it going, and playing with a lot of youngsters out there in Southern California. So we'll see what happens. But they do have a tough schedule, but I'm going with my boys. I'm not going to go with anyone else. Go Blue.
Makes sense.
Alex Orji looked good. Doing what?
You know, in the fourth quarter with a minute left when he came in from.
He's completed a grand total of 1 pass. The man is
that one pass was amazing, bro.
This guy said he looked good.
Pass for 5 yards.
He looked good.
One pass, bro. It's completion. Hey, completion is completion. 100%. I don't care what you say. He 100%. He looked good. No, he looked good in camp. He looked good in the spring game. I liked him in the spring game.
Next to Connor Stallions on the sideline holding the clipboard is your basis on how you feel confident in Alex Orji.
I like Alex Orji. I watched the spring game. I enjoyed.
Be your starter by week 5.
The spring game's more of a joke than preseason, bro.
I liked him in the spring game and his reads throughout the offense. I mean, that defense is still one of the top defenses in the country, hands down. I mean, you know, they returned a lot of guys and will compete in the Big Ten this year. They will compete. And I know he was not.
Remember, I called it now. Alex Orji will not be starting this entire season. But anyways.
I disagree with that 100%. He's going to be the starter the entire year.
Then y'all will be fucked. I hope he is.
Okay. When we beat you at the end of the year, don't worry about it, bro.
Okay.
Enjoy your little rant at the end of the year like last year.
That's fine. People win one game. People finally win one thing, and oh shit, they're now just the most amazing team ever. You got rid of your little khaki man and all that type of shit. And speaking of returners, anyways, the real champion of the Big Ten has returned 9 out of 11 stars. The Ohio State Buckeyes. 9 of 11 defensive stars come back. You said you're returning people. We returned 9 out of 11 and brought in Caleb Downs, who was one of the best safeties in the country last year. That is a stacked defense. Then you come back, you bring Travion Henderson, one of the most explosive running backs in the league. Then you go out there and you add Quinton Judkins, who was the SEC running back of the year. So you add that back there, and at the same time, your boy McCord over here, we'll probably get to that later. His sorry ass is gone. At that point, I would have trusted John to play quarterback. I wouldn't trust John to even evaluate a quarterback based on his evaluation of Orji. So putting him out is now addition by subtraction. So Will Howard, you damn right it was going to be an upgrade. Even if it wasn't Will Howard, if we wanted to go out here and put in any of the other guys, we had to put in Julian Sanders and these guys, it was still going to be an upgrade because Kyle McCord was dog shit. The only thing Kyle McCord had going for him was he had a good best friend, Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, speaking of Marvin Harrison Jr., the Ohio State Buckeyes, they always recruit a receiver. We got receivers on receivers on receivers. There are so many 5-star guys always in that locker room. We added a couple 5-stars. Julian Fleming left because he was a 5-star and he wasn't going to get on the field, and he's been on the field, so he had to leave. So the point is here, the Ohio State Buckeyes are going to take this. This is boom or bust. You go in there, you add Chip Kelly's offensive coordinator. Y'all can say whatever you want to with Chip Kelly as a coach, but everybody knows Chip Kelly, the offensive coordinator, was a monster. Chip Kelly, the offensive coordinator or head coach, is actually who taught Ryan Day. So Ryan Day went out there and got the guy who taught him the game to come in and get the running game right. So, as we said, it will be the Ohio State Buckeyes. That is what this will be. Michigan will not be in the finals. We'll be seeing Jamie's Ducks in the finals. So that'll be a repeat after the October game. We will be repeating versus the Ducks in the championship game. Mike, how do you feel about all this?
Well,
you can't pick Notre Dame.
No, I can't pick Notre Dame.
Even though they'll be in the Big Ten soon.
Right, exactly. Not yet. So first off, I think Michigan is going to be a lot better than people are giving them credit for. I think you're welcome. Hold on, but give me a minute.
I mean,
Michigan's
like, 10. I mean, it's not like they're rated 25 here.
No, but people, I've seen people saying that Michigan's going to drop out of the top 25 by like midseason, and I don't think that's the case. I still think Michigan is a top 10 team in the country. I think they're a contender. I do think they will be in the Big Ten championship game. However, I do have to say that this year's Big Ten champions, because they better be with all the money they spent and all the transfers they brought in, will be the Ohio State Buckeyes. Sorry, John. I think this year they're going to do it because they better. Like I said, they better. Because they spent way too much money and went and got way too many good transfers to not win this year. This is Ryan Day's ass if they don't win. If they don't win the Big Ten title game, it wouldn't shock me if he's fired.
He will be fired.
Yeah, like this is like you said, it's boom or bust. Now, I do think
it has nothing to do with if he beats Michigan or not. Even if he loses to Michigan, he don't get the job done to win a natty. He's out.
The only shot he has.
I agree.
Is, yeah,
even if he wins,
and they fail. If he beats Michigan, they lose. I don't know. Let's say in the second round of playoff, he's still getting fired.
Yeah,
I don't care if he beats Michigan by 50 and they lose in the second round of playoff.
Yeah,
the only way he may be able to hold on would be to have to go to the championship, have a competitive game with whoever else was there. That's the only thing that's going to save his job. If he gets blown out, it has to be it has to be basically the Georgia playoff game re-replicated from a couple years ago. It's like the only shot that he has. If he goes out there and loses by 2 touchdowns in a playoff,
and that's why he went out and got who he got for coaching, because he's like, I have to do what I have to win. Yeah. Michigan, everyone keeps saying, and I understand the rivals are going to go at it about it, and and whatnot, but he needs to win a national title, or at least get to the game again. Like, he needs to get to the game, and it needs to be close in order for him to even keep his job. So, I don't know.
And I think because I think also, by the way, that the Pac-12 teams that came in, I'm giving them a year. Oregon's a very good team. Like, they're a very talented team, and Dylan Gabriel's a great quarterback. But I'm giving them a year to get acclimated to the new conference. I think there's going to be some growing pains with all those teams, where I agree with what John said in the sense that I think they're all going to have at least one game on their schedule that especially in the Big Ten part of it, that trips them up. I don't know. I can't. Like, it might be Wisconsin. It might be Penn State.
Well, they're not. It
might be having.
Oregon, so I messed up and thought it was them. It was Washington that's playing them. But everyone's so high on Dylan Gabriel. I don't know. I don't see it. Like, he wasn't good at Oklahoma. He was okay at UCF in a mediocre conference.
He was good at Oklahoma.
He was okay at Oklahoma.
He was good enough to almost beat Texas.
Solid at Oklahoma. I don't say he did beat Texas.
I mean, but he's not. I don't know why everyone's so hyped up on him. I just don't get it. I don't see it. I didn't see it last year in Oklahoma. Like, Oklahoma was
more about the system than it is him.
Because you're not asking him to do that much. He's still an upgrade versus what they would have had after Bo Nix finally decided he's gonna stop being a professor in college. He still is an upgrade over. He's an upgrade over that. So it's not saying like Dylan Gabriel is. Nobody, I don't think, is looking at him as like, oh, this is some first round draft prospect. He's just looking at it as he's still one of the better.
He can fill a position.
Yeah, because like Jay said, it's more about their system out there than it is about the quarterback, honestly. Dan Lannon has put in a more of a system thing. I mean, they all have. Whether it's him, whether it was
a lot more about that defense winning them games. I mean, he's turning around the culture of Oregon. So,
yeah, that's what I think it's more about. I don't think, we'll get to that probably next week, but I don't think it's saying he's going to win the Heisman. I think it's just saying this is one of your probably top 10 to 15 quarterbacks in college football.
Top 10.
All right. Well, Big Ten is decided. Jamie with Oregon, Mike with Ohio State, Trey with Ohio State, and John is staking faithfully with my Michigan Wolverines.
Of course.
Who we got next, Trey Day?
All right. Well, let's go to the SEC.
Oh, yeah.
Where do we want to start here? John, who you got?
I got it. It is going to be the newcomer in the Texas Longhorns. They will take the SEC title. They are fighting for vengeance after losing to Washington, which they should have beat Washington in the semifinals last year. Bringing back Quinn Ewers. They brought back a lot of guys on that defensive side and offensive side. I mean, it starts with the quarterback. We always say this all the time. It starts with the quarterback, and you have a solid quarterback. Quinn Ewers was a solid quarterback, 3,400 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 6 picks as a redshirt sophomore. I mean, he was just great for them last year. Now, granted, they did lose Xavier Worthy and lost some key guys on the offside, but the defense did return a lot. Just looking at the possible, let me just pull this up here right now. Breakout candidates that I had here was Sadir Mitchell, the New Jersey native, 6'6", 335-pound New Jerseyan, who is a Texan at heart. I mean, he's just a monster of defensive tackle. I feel like that is what
New Jerseyans. Is that?
That's a claim term. Copyright.
There you go.
Copyrighting it.
I mean, you're from New York, so I'm asking.
No, I have no idea. But I'm copyrighting that. New Jersey can't take it from me. They have to buy it from me. We're starting to bid at $100 million.
I like
but
it.
Texas, I feel, is on a vengeance. They returned a lot of guys, and even if Quinn Ewers gets hurt at some point, you still have the say hey kid and Archie Manning is waiting for his turn chomping at the bit. Could have transferred and started this year, but decided to stay there and believes in Sarkisian's mindset. And I feel like Texas has been on the cusp of breaking through the last 2 or 3 years. Texas is going to win the SEC this year and probably upset, I believe, Georgia. I want to say Georgia, but my gut, I'm saying LSU. I don't know why. It just seems like one of those years where LSU is just good. I don't know. I just don't know why. I can't give any reasons. It just feels like one of those years. But I am saying the Texas Longhorns are the SEC champions. Trey Day?
Georgia, they're going to be hungry. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I think Kirby, because, I mean, you got to be realistic. Last year, Georgia probably, and I know John here, but probably was the best team in college football. But, hey, at the end of the day, they lost. They didn't get to the playoff. That's on them. And I think that is going to make them more this year say, ain't no falling asleep at the wheel, I think they're going to put the pedal to the metal, because I think last year was a true lesson. And if you pull your foot up, and you decide, okay, well, we're just playing Ole Miss this week, or we're doing, when you lose one of these games, and I just don't think Kirby's going to let that go down this year. I think Texas and Oklahoma, I do think is going to be kind of what Mike said in the Big Ten. I think they're going to have a little bit of an adjustment. So I think Texas is going to be strong. I just think it's going to be adjustment. I think Oklahoma's going to have a harder time adjusting there, but I definitely think Georgia, I mean, Carson Beck's coming back. So that's going to be a big thing. And as usual, Georgia is stacked. They have depth, and that's something that we're going to have to look at. And this is any team we're looking at. We keep adding more and more games. And the more games you add, the more depth you're going to have, which is when you start looking at your top-tier programs. When you're looking at your Georgias, your Alabamas, your Michigans, your Ohio States, these are the type of teams that are going to have depth. They're going to have a 5-star coming in when the next 5 stars hurt. When we get to that championship game, trust and believe that whatever 2 teams show up, there are going to be 2 or 3 major injuries on both sides, because you got these guys playing the NFL schedule at this point. But when you get to some of these top-tier teams, and I would say this to go back to when you see start to come in, when their 4-star comes out, they get a 4-star hurt, they got to bring a 3-star. If you look at a team like Georgia, okay, so 5-star D tackle goes down, 3 more in back of them. So they'll be, and that's why I think Georgia is going to end up coming out the SEC this year as far as the champ.
Yeah, I mean, they got, and we'll see on Saturday, October 19th. We'll see, what they're made of when it comes to playing Georgia. They got to play Georgia at home, which is going to be a big matchup right there. I think it's going to be a 1-3. I don't know where's Texas ranked right now. 3, 4, 4. So it's going to be a 1. 4. I think it's going to stay the same probably around that time. We might see some slip ups, but that's week 6 of the college football season. It's going to be a dog grind. I mean,
Ohio State, Oregon would have played already.
Yeah,
Ohio State, Oregon would have played. So it's one of those. It'll probably be a 1 versus 3.
Yeah,
or
so
2 versus 3.
It's going to be that's going to be a key matchup. I mean, Oklahoma, they got to play the Red River rivalry in October, right before. Play Michigan on the road, which is a day game, which is weird to me. But I don't know. I think if Texas can get through their schedule, they're going to. But I see Georgia too. I see what you're saying, and I agree. I mean, I think Georgia was the best team in college football last year. I think Michigan would have had a tough time against them in the national championship game, but I think. At the end of the day, I'm gonna go with my boys. But Mikey, who you got?
Real quick before I go, on your end did anybody get delayed there?
Huh?
When they were talking,
I just heard Jerry cut out for 2 seconds.
Yeah, you and Trey are delayed on my end, so I just want to make sure that's not delayed anywhere else.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah,
I don't know.
Not for me.
I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
they're on mine.
Okay, fine then.
I mean, at some point, if you feel like we're delaying again, to stop before we get. If you
You
start
want me
to
to
see.
pause it? You want me to finish it?
I think you guys are sped up now. So as long as if it wasn't for Jay, it may have just been me.
Yeah, if you
I
say
just
it again,
wanted.
just
I
stop.
just wanted to ask. Just
No, better be safe than sorry. So.
okay. Let me. Yeah, so I think it's going to be an interesting SEC this year. I do think Texas, unlike the Pac-12 teams, I think it's going to be less growing pains for Texas only because the transition from Big 12 to SEC. I mean, they've played these teams, I think, a lot more before than the Pac-12 teams have played the Big 10 teams. It's a more geographically located where they've played like non-conference games more often. But the last thing the SEC needed was a Georgia team that's talented and deep with a chip on their shoulder, which is exactly what they have now because they, like Trey said, they took their foot off the pedal, lost the SEC championship game, didn't make the playoff like they knew they should have. And so, yeah, they're not going to let that happen again. So I'm going to go with Georgia. I do think it's Texas in the SEC championship game against them. LSU, I think, is going to be a good team, but it's one of those years where it's like an LSU team that's not quite yet. They're almost there. Like maybe next year they'll be good. They'll be at the top of the SEC, but not this year. I do think it's going to be Georgia, Texas, but I think Georgia's going to get the job done no matter what they have to do.
Jay.
One quick thing with and this is just your point about like the adjustment with and this going back to the Big Ten. USC is going to have a harder time, I think, because they're going to jump up and go up to like Michigan in November. Oregon already plays in the cold. Washington plays in the cold. And especially Oregon, they'd already started kind of equipping themselves to be more physical. The other thing, too, with Oregon specifically, and I guess Washington, too, is they actually have been playing the Big Ten because they keep showing up at, like, the Rose Bowls and shit like that.
That's true.
So they actually have been across the team. It's USC and UCLA specifically, I think, are going to be like, what the fuck is going on? Even they go like Rutgers. It's going to be like Jersey in November. You're going to be like, what the fuck is this cold shit that we're doing here?
Right.
I think some of them are going to be the fucked up ones as far as, like, the regional adjustment. But that's just a quick side note. I was thinking as you were saying that. But Jay, who you got for SEC?
Man, this one's tough because you guys all make great points. And when you're really looking at how this Georgia team has been built, the one thing that they have going for them was last year, right? Because it's not like, oh, well, you're by far the best team and you're coming with that expectation that, automatically because of the way you performed last year, you're returning so many people. So they're coming, yes, they have the chip on their shoulder, but they're also coming in at a good time for there to be a 12-team playoff because their schedule friggin' sucks. Right now, if things don't shift, they have road games against the 4th, 5th, and 6th ranked teams in college football. So they're playing at Texas, at Bama, at Ole Miss. Then they have to go to Tennessee after the Ole Miss game. It goes Texas game, then Florida, then Ole Miss, then Tennessee, and 3 of those are on the road. That doesn't bode very well. 4 because we know it's the cocktail party, so they're gonna be on the road for a while, and that's gonna be a very tough road test for this team. However, Kirby Smart built this team to be process oriented. So that's why they ended up winning that national championship. It was never a look ahead thing. It was always we're really dialed in on the process. This is how we're building this team. The team's super deep this year. Once again, we know that was their strength. And when you have this kind of depth, it's really hard for you in an SEC conference that has gotten a little less old school blue collar grind out games to a lot more of a who can score the most points, right? It's become kind of like a track meet. So they can do that. And they can beat a Texas team if it means scoring points against them. So I actually see both of these teams with 1 loss going into the SEC championship game. I just don't see Georgia losing 2 of them in a row. So I got to go with them Dogs.
Well, don't forget the game after Tennessee. They got to play UMass, man. They got to play the Minutemen.
That's a
Minutemen fucking dominate, bro.
In comparison, when you look at Texas's schedule, they don't have back-to-back games that seem that hard. So Texas may come out unscathed other than the Georgia game. Georgia's going to have to put a lot into making sure they finish the season with 1 loss. And, hey, if they go unbeaten in this kind of schedule, man, this team's going to roll through the playoffs probably.
All right. Well, Jamie's going Georgia. Mike's going Georgia. I guess I'm the outlier in this group today. I'm going Texas, and Trey's going Georgia. So
I wanted to go Texas,
Trey,
but
Trey, who are you going with? What conference are we going next?
Let's head over to the ACC.
Oh, this is
Mike. Who do you got? But Notre Dame is not an ACC team, so who do you got?
Say it, Mike.
No.
Say it.
I know you.
Well, I wanted to. If they were in it, it would be Notre Dame, but they're not. No, I think we talk about Georgia's chip on their shoulder. The ACC probably features the team with the biggest chip on their shoulder, possibly in the country, which is Florida State. Like, I think they're going into this season looking to prove everybody wrong. And I think that for the ACC, that's what they'll do. I think they'll win the ACC, probably playing Clemson in the championship game. But other than Clemson, I really don't see too much of a contender ready to beat this Florida State team right now. Now, I will put a caveat to this because of the person that currently on my screen sits to my side. I think Fran Brown's got Syracuse trending in absolutely the right direction. I think he's building a winner, just not quite yet.
Yeah, it's Florida State. Florida State's got I don't even think it has anything to do with the chip on the shoulder. The ACC sucks. Let's be real. Yeah. ACC is terrible, and it has nothing to do with the chip on it because they got DJ Ugalagalagalagale fucking quarterbacking, and it's gonna show that in a weak ass conference, even he can get the job done. I mean, he was already with Clemson, but that was when it was tough, to even get it done in Clemson. So I don't trust DJ to get it done when the time is right. So I'm saying Florida State because of what their defense is. They're bringing back. They lost Jared Verse to the Rams, but they got a good. They got a good offensive scheme for him, and I think they re-upped their offensive receiving core for him. So it's just like, hey, just go out there and not lose the game for me. So I think their schedule flows very easily. They start off the season at Georgia Tech here on Saturday, and then they go BC, Memphis, Cal, SMU. I mean, it's just a cakewalk. I mean, the hardest game on their schedule is probably going to be Clemson and then maybe at Miami. But even the at Miami, you don't know what Miami team is going to show up. It could be, okay, this great Miami team, or it could be, okay, the team that blew it, with a minute left last year on a dumbass play. So, I mean, obviously they got to go to Notre Dame. I don't even trust, I don't even know about Notre Dame this year. Notre Dame is iffy to me. Notre Dame is Notre Dame. We say Mets is going to Met, Notre Dame's going to Notre Dame. So, sorry, Mike.
What does that mean?
But
what the hell does that mean?
You know exactly what that means.
We played Alabama. Like, we were going to get our ass kicked no matter what. They don't blow games like the Mets do. That's all I'm saying. Anyway.
I could argue.
They did lose to Duke last year.
They did lose the Ohio State game.
They didn't.
They lost to Duke.
The Ohio State game they didn't have enough men on the field in the most important play against Ohio State.
Yeah, I know that.
I could say that was a Clippers Mets type move.
All right, Trey Day, who you going with in the ACC?
Y'all down to you. And the thing about this is, you damn right. The ACC is weak. Have y'all looked at Miami's schedule? Go ahead, pull the schedule up. They don't play any fucking body this year. That's right. They play two. The only two teams they play that are even possibly ranked is Florida and Florida State. They got a big gap between having to play Florida State. They also added Cam Ward. See, what you just said is, I don't trust DJ. I don't trust DJ either. I know I keep putting people on the bench, but DJ will not be the quarterback this entire season for Florida State. He will be benched. It's going to happen. But Cam Ward is a hell of an upgrade out there. Everybody, and I mean including Ohio State and all of us, we all wanted Cam Ward. Everybody was looking for a quarterback in the transfer portal. So they got the prize out of the transfer portal. Not to mention, what else did y'all say? All those stupid-ass moves. You know who's on the hot seat? Mario Cristobal. You know who's not going to do any stupid-ass moves this year? Mario Cristobal, because his ass does some stupid shit like last year, and he's going to get fired. So all he has to do is stay the fuck out of his own way. Bet Cam Ward can win some games. And if y'all look at the schedule, like I said, I think they're going to get washed by somebody when the playoffs comes. But I think they'll get there just because they don't fucking play anybody. And it's simple as that. They don't play anybody. And at the end of the day, we always know Miami's going to have talent on the field. It's just whether they actually can put it together. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Miami.
Jamie,
who you got at the ACC?
It's hard to go against the nose. I mean, when a team has by far the best offensive and defensive line in the conference, it really doesn't matter who the skill set players are in any other team. They're going to control the lines both ways. I know they lost their 3 best players to the NFL last year, but they picked up Marvin Jones Jr. He's going to be a first-round pick. So I think they replaced some of that talent. The only game they're really going to get this year might be their season opener against Clemson. We don't know who's going to show up and what to expect from the other teams. We know Clemson always at least starts off well. And given their track record last couple of seasons, they're going to fall off the face of the earth after week 3. However, I do think Clemson's team will be better than years past. I think they're going to show a little more bite than they have over the past couple of years. And if they do, I actually think it's going to be a flip-flop where FSU beats Clemson in the opener, but then, whenever they play, and then Clemson, out of desperation, needs that win to possibly get into the playoffs. I think they beat an FSU team because, like we were saying, who knows how soon the teams are going to take their foot off the pedal. If they're doesn't matter whether you're 4th, 6th, doesn't matter in the playoffs. So I think that's why Clemson may end up sneaking one and beating them in the AC title game. But Florida State's going to roll through the regular season. I know you guys are giving DJ a no credit whatsoever. I think he found the right place. I think FSU's head coach does a great job at figuring out what's the right skill set. What do we have to do here to make sure that his player doesn't have to do too much? I think he'll set up an offense for him to win. And that's why he's going to probably have a much better year than we think, because he's not going to put him in a position to make a lot of dumb mistakes as we know him to have done in the past. So I think this is probably the best spot he could have landed. Because of that, he guides FSU to an ACC title.
But you are picking FSU, not Clemson?
I'm taking the Noles. Regular season, they're going to run the table, but I think Clemson might beat them in the conference.
So Clemson technically would be the champ then, because they would have won.
So this is the champ of the ACC.
Yeah, that would make Clemson the champ.
There's no regular season champ. The actual champ.
Yeah, there's no regular season champ. The regular season just puts the top 2 teams into the championship game. So essentially, you're saying Clemson would be the champ then.
I think they could sneak one. I mean, I think Clemson could sneak one, but Florida State by far is the best team in the conference. Like I said, they lose it. Not because they're not the best team. They lose it because they take their foot off the pedal.
Yeah, I can
I
see
still
that.
think
Clemson, personally.
I see.
Yeah.
I think Clemson's overrated. I think
they're done. I think that's all. I think we're done with Clemson. At the end of the day, Clemson's never gonna be but so much of a marquee school. They're not even the state school or the school of the state. At the end of the day, South Carolina is always still going to be the biggest program in that state. On top of that, Dabo refuses to go with the times. Everybody else wants to go to transfer portal, do stuff, and he's like, I'm not doing it. I don't like NIL. Okay, well, you're not going to get the best people to transfer. You're not going to get the best commits to go there. I think that boat has sailed. They had a great run. It's over.
Yep. All right, let's take it to the final conference in the Big 12.
Okay, Big 12. Let's see. Where do we want to start here? John, Big 12. Where are you going here?
So I said this on the Urban Raj show, and I'm going to say this here. It is going to be the Baylor Bears. Baylor Bears have upgraded a lot since
Robert Griffin's going back. He's not ESPN.
Yeah, he's basically going back. What I like about the Baylor Bears is they went and got themselves a good quarterback who's developed himself at Toledo, and DeQuan Finn. Over the last 2 seasons, he's thrown for over 2,000 yards, 2,600 in his career high. He had a 63% completion percentage, 22 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He comes in with a point-to-prove quarterback. Like, hey, I can play with the big dogs here in the Big 12. And I think that bodes well. Like we said, a quarterback takes you anywhere, right? So the receiving corps should be a plus. You have a lot that had 16 yards per catch, but that's not saying much in the Big 12 because we all know it's a running gun type offense. Johnny Manziel made a career off of it, right? So, but I just feel the Big 12 is down this year. They have a schedule that plays into that factor, and I feel like we're just going to see some sort of year where Baylor just comes out of nowhere and just takes over the Big 12. I mean, they got to go to Utah. That's always a tough game. But after that, Colorado could be a tough game. Oklahoma State, and then Kansas, I don't see being ranked at the end of the year when they play them. So,
Oklahoma State,
What?
Oklahoma State played Texas tough for 3 quarters before they end up pulling away from them to win the Big 12 championship last year. How can you say the runner-up to the championship game last year is on the schedule when they've gotten better?
I don't see it this year. I see them not ranked at that point. I don't see them ranked this year at that point. That's what I'm saying.
How? They returned the best player in possibly the country.
I just don't see them. I just don't see them being ranked. I see Baylor getting that year that you just see Baylor in the championship game, and you're like, how the hell did Baylor get here? Like, what made Baylor get here?
Oklahoma State ain't gonna be a You're talking about Utah, and you say tough. Oklahoma State is not an on the schedule. That's their toughest game.
Nah. Maybe, yeah. I mean, on their schedule, yes. On their schedule, yes. 100%. Oklahoma State, yes. Yeah. But I'm saying I think they beat them. I think they beat Oklahoma State. I think they go 11-1. I think they trip up somewhere because obviously it's going to happen at some point in the Big 12. We're going to see like, oh my God, that person's upset. We see it every single year in the Big 12 and whatnot. I don't know where, but I'm just saying this is the year I think Baylor's going to win the Big 12, and we're going to see them, and it's going to be like, how the fuck did that happen? Don't ask me why. I have that feeling in my jellies. So what do you got? Who do you got in the Big 12? Did you just announce that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you're downplaying the team that obviously who played some of the best football to end the year last year, right? Their coach is a walking meme. I mean, Mike Gundy on a microphone is the best thing in football, period. So, except this NIL rant was kind of out there recently. And by the way, if you guys don't know, they're going to be wearing QR codes on their helmets that link to, like, I think being able to donate towards the NIL fund or whatever it is. Yeah. So, but I just think this team is returning one of the best players in college football. Ollie Gordon's an absolute stud. Won the Doak Award last year. The guy will run his way into everybody's back, like the secondary. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter if you stack the box. He's running his way past that second line. So Ollie Gordon's going to keep them alive in games where the offense isn't doing what it's supposed to do. He'll keep extended drives to them. And that's what they need because the defense hasn't really done the job. Oklahoma State is known as a team that has to put tons of points up. However, they looked a little bit better on that side of the ball last year. Surprisingly, they definitely held teams to much lower scoring margins than their normal shootouts that you see. And that bodes well for them because they've returned most of those players. So I think their schedule gets a little bit tough. They have to go to BYU, to Kansas State, and at Colorado to end the year. You never know at that point if Colorado's going to be desperate. Maybe they need a win just to get into a bowl game. I don't know what it's going to be like for them this year. I think they're one of the more unpredictable teams to right now call and see what kind of football we're going to see out of Deion's program. But I love Oklahoma State to return to the championship game and to beat Kansas State.
Wow, that's a big pick.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Trey Day, who you got?
I'm gonna go with Utah. Yeah, we're gonna go to Utah. Y'all didn't see that one coming, did y'all? Yeah. So Cam Rising is back for his 15th season.
Yeah. When's he ever gonna freaking graduate?
Never. So Cam Rising is back for his 15th season. I like because they have that experience at the quarterback position specifically. Quarterback position is what's going to control the game, but Utah's also a very physical team, so I do like that as well. The other thing as well with Utah is just when I look at the coach, when I look at Whittingham, he's been there for almost 20 years. There's got to be something that's to be said about a program with that type of stability and this type of times where coaches always getting up and going to NFL, people always looking for new jobs, people don't want to stay around because of NIL, people don't want to stay around because of this. When you got a guy who's been around that long, you keep your recruits, you keep these guys in, they've been in the program for years, and I think that stability is going to be what's going to help them. You look at all the conference realignment, everybody's having to say, oh, well, not only did we got to switch conferences, now we got to switch all these players out. We got to switch our coach out. They're like one of the most stable programs in college football because they got this 20-year coach with this 15-year quarterback. So I'm thinking that stability ultimately is what's going to actually prevail Utah. And I think nobody's going to see it coming. And I think that's one of the best things for them is I think they're just going to fly under the radar. And then they're going to look up and say, oh, shit, Utah's in the Big 12 championship game? And I think that's how it's going to.
I feel like that's what we're going to say with any team that goes to the Big 12. Oh, shit, they're in there? Like, fuck.
Probably
okay.
Right.
Makes sense. Like, I feel like that's what the Big 12 is this year. It's like, oh, shit, okay, TCU? That makes sense. Okay. Mike, who you got?
Yeah, so this was, when I was looking at this was kind of a crapshoot of a conference in the opposite sense from what we said for the ACC, in that there's a bunch of contenders in the Big 12 that all seem to be roughly on par and competitive with each other. So in the end, I did have to go with the team I trust the most to be the most consistent, and that is the Utah Utes. There is something to be said. There is something that has to be said about 20 years of the same head coach, consistency in the program, consistency in the play style, and they always seem to be able to put together a solid, deep team. Maybe not, a team full of superstar names, but guys that just play well as a team and play well together. And in the end, I think that's what gets them the Big 12 title. I think they just outlast everybody else. I don't even know who they're going to play in the Big 12 championship game because it could be one of like 5 or 6 teams at least. But I think in the end, whoever it is, whoever matches up with Utah in that Big 12 championship game, Utah will end up outlasting them and win what I expect to be a very competitive game.
Yeah, I mean, it could be anybody. But it goes back to, is it competitive, or is it competitive because it's good, or is it competitive because they suck?
Right, and that's the question. I think,
okay, yeah, we got Utah. You're saying it's not similar to the ACC, where I actually see it's similar to the ACC, where there could be 2 clear-cut favorites right now, and the rest of the league is like, who the fuck knows? Versus,
Well, here's the one thing we know: Iowa has the best defense in the country, but their offense can't freaking put together 2 touchdowns in a game. So, and so that's always going to be a tough game for anybody. And the Big 12 has like a reputation.
Iowa's in the Big 10.
They have
Iowa. Yeah,
they have a reputation. I was thinking Iowa State. Sorry, they have a reputation of in recent years, like we said, it was all shootouts. But we've kind of seen a little bit of an adjustment over the past couple of years. Where, like I said, it's flip flop. Where how did the Big 12 become the conference where you see more defensive play coming into factor, and the SEC become the conference where it's more of a shootout? So it's interesting to see how that's going to sway. Like you guys said, it may sway into Utah's favor because being that they're so physical. Maybe that's what gets them, that edge over other teams, because the conference seems to be going that way where there's no more. I mean, Oklahoma exit, and who's the real juggernaut offense, right? It's Oklahoma State. But is that what really keeps winning the Big 12? I think there's one more year of that till we kind of see that conference becoming much more of a defensive-minded conference.
All right, guys. Well, we have wrapped up our Big 4. So, of course, we gotta shout out to the little guys, right? We gotta go out and see which non-conference 4 or not Big 4 is a team of destiny, a team of greatness, or just a team that you're going to enjoy watching this year. So, Grandpa Jay.
No, go ahead. Start with Mikey. We know. Let Mikey have it.
Mikey.
Go ahead, Mike.
We already know where he's going. So
yeah, let's just get this out of the way.
The little guy.
Let's go ahead and get this out of the way.
Go ahead, Mike. This is the one time you can talk about them.
But I'm not going to.
They're not part of a
non-pop. I've talked about them. No, they are. But I've talked about that. What?
They're not part of a Power 4 in football.
I said no. They're not. I said right. They're not a part of the Power 4.
But
I've talked about them enough so far today, and I'm going to have plenty of time to talk about them throughout the year as they continue to win games. No, I wanted to highlight the Liberty Flames, who have a very good chance of going 26-0 over the last 2 seasons.
And still Mike's still.
I'm pretty sure he's still. I think Mike's read my notes today.
Yep, they return Caden Salter and Quentin Cooley, their 2 leading offensive players. Salter nearly threw for 3,000 yards and ran for over 1,000 yards last year. He's just a year older, a year wiser. And the one mistake they've made as far as their consideration for getting into the playoff is the fact that they scheduled no Power 4 teams, which will benefit them in going 26-0 because I think they'll absolutely run over everyone on their schedule. It's just then they'll be complaining that they didn't get that they might not get into the playoff, and it's like, well, you didn't play anybody.
Well, really, schedules are the non-conference are built out years in advance, so.
Right, I understand that, but I'm just saying.
And honestly, I don't. If I'm a Power 4, I'm not going to play Liberty because that's a loss.
It's a trap game.
That's a potential trap game. Yeah, a potential loss for me. So if I'm even on the cusp of not sure with my team, I'm not picking you up no matter what.
Right. No, I get. No, I 100%.
Loss when I go play fucking UMass or Villanova.
No, 100%. I 100%.
Learn from Michigan.
Right.
I mean, Appalachian State wasn't worth the cost and benefit of the Appalachian State game was not worth.
That cost Michigan right there the national championship that year.
Yeah, they could have played Akron. They decided to go play App State. It wasn't worth it.
Right.
And App State was fucking good that year. I think they went like 1 loss that year, the App State team, but they were crazy good. But yeah, I mean, I don't fault Liberty to not play Power 4. I don't think a Power 4 wanted to pick them up if they could. So, like, I don't think they if they wanted to, they probably knocked on some doors, but I don't think they basically said, the Power 4's like, nah, we're good.
Yeah.
You got enough
No,
media
and
attention
I get
last year.
That's just the one downside to their season. Look, going in to it is just like, oh, you really don't have a strong strength of schedule. But I think they're going to be fun to watch. I think Cooley and Salter are going to be really fun players to watch this year that everybody should keep their eye on, because they're probably not going to get like postseason award, high consideration, just because they're not playing like what's considered really good teams, but they're going to be two fun prospects to take a look at. Trey, do you want to piggyback?
Yeah, I feel like Mike took my notes here. Like I was kind of on the Liberty bandwagon just because they don't fucking play anybody, but they actually have some talented guys. When you go back to when Malik Willis was there a couple years ago, he was way too talented to be playing that schedule. I mean, I know it's not worked out for the NFL, but that's just been, Liberty's thing. But I'm going to take this elsewhere. Excuse me here. We're going to go to a side note here. I want to shout out a couple quick OGs here since he already took Liberty. So, in college football, we have a lot of old-ass dudes. Some of this we have to thank the COVID. Some of this we have to thank the other stuff. So let me shout out a couple really old guys. Jay's going to love this. Some of these guys were actually playing, when he first, started playing years ago. So, yeah, so we got, at BYU, we got Jerry Bohannon. He's entering his 7th season. We have Alan Bowman at Oklahoma State. He's entering his 7th season. We have, I don't know how to pronounce the guy's name. He's at Utah. Brant, I think Kuwait, I think it's how you pronounce the name, entering his 7th season at Utah. We have my guy Cam Rising. Okay, I said 15 years. It's actually 7 years that he's been playing. Pretty sure he's a professor, as the rumor I've been hearing. He may be a professor in chemistry, but I don't know if that rumor can be fabricated or not. We have Tyler Schaff in Louisville entering his 7th year. We have Casey Thompson at FAU entering his 7th year. We have up in Michigan, John's guy Jack Tuttle entering his 7th year. And last but not least,
Jack Tuttle's still on the team.
Yes, Jack Tuttle is still on the team.
Fuck, man, he's been there for a minute.
No, it hasn't been. Some of these guys ain't getting a COVID year. They're getting a COVID freaking degree.
Decade.
Just find 4 more years of eligibility if you can. We'll give it to you. It's nuts.
Yep. And last but not least, we got to go back to the U. We have Cam McCormick, tight end of Miami, entering his 9th year. He was originally in the class of 2016. Just think about that. The class of 2016. I'd have to go back and look, but who in the hell was the draft pick in 2016? Think about that. Whoever that is like an 8-year NFL vet right now. Like, that guy has been there forever. He's
legit
working on
Pat Mahomes.
I was going to say, that's before Mahomes got picked.
Okay, legit Pat Mahomes has won 3 Super Bowls, has won MVPs.
And really quick, the rumor with McCormick is he's very inspired by LeBron James, so he's working on trying to get his firstborn son a scholarship so they can play together, which is why McCormick will not give up this college football ride, because McCormick is going to play with McCormick Jr. at the University of Miami in about 3 years.
Nice.
Jay, what little guy you shouting out?
Well, Trey and Mike have gone with Liberty, and I'm going to go across over into the American Athletic Conference, whatever you want to call that, and that is going to be the Memphis Tigers. They're returning a pretty good offense with a running game that averaged 4.6 yards per carry, and as well as a good quarterback, consistent. In his time in the last 3 seasons, he's thrown over, and that's Seth Hennigan. He's thrown over 10,000 yards, 79 passing touchdowns. So you got a guy that's been there for a minute, has some depth, and it just seems like a Memphis type year, right? Like, Memphis has to play Florida State. That's probably a loss, but other than that, their schedule's a cakewalk. I mean, they'll probably go 11-1. They don't have to play really anyone. North Alabama, Troy, Navy, Middle Tennessee, South Florida, North Texas, Charlotte, UTSA, Rice, UAB, and Tulane. The Tulane game might trip them up, rivalry game, but at the end of the day, I think Memphis is going to be the team to watch. They will be in the top 15 by the end of the year, and you might see them bitching and complaining because they missed the playoffs. So I'm going with the Memphis Tigers. Grandpa Jay, who are you going with over there?
Well, I'm probably going to go with the guys from just up the road, since the guys right here around the corner from us may not be ready this season. The USF still needs a couple of years there to get their act together. So I'm going with UCF because Gus Malzahn is doing his thing there, once again, recruiting some running back talent. So he's gotten 2 transfers to come in, notably from the SEC, KJ Jefferson from Arkansas, who kind of ran all over the SEC 2 years ago. He's also got RJ Harvey to come in as well. These guys are coming off pretty strong seasons in their respective conferences before coming into and playing in that black and gold uniform. So, right now he's raving about the fact that he feels that he has his 2 guys. Obviously, we think they're going to run the ball a lot, try and control the clock. The big question is, are they ready to defend better? And if they are, this team might end up stealing some wins. Notably, I think they have games in Gainesville this year, in West Virginia. They host Utah. So who knows if that might be a spoiler for you guys who are throwing up that U saying that's the team to beat on the Big 12. So I think they have a chance to play spoiler. We know it was a rude awakening for them. I know they are in, a bigger conference now. I shouldn't be really choosing them because they're in one of the Power Fours, but it doesn't seem like they're a Power Four team just like, they belong there just yet. I kind of still see them as a Cinderella trying to find their way in. I think they got a taste of it, and now we're going to see really if they can handle it, because it really was a bad opening, the opening act in that conference. So given it a Cinderella team in the conference, I know I should be choosing someone else. I still consider them one of the smaller guys in the big Power Four now. So,
well, because they're one of the teams that has the biggest magnifying glass on them. The reason why is because they, to this day, still have on their stadium the 2017 national champion. When we watched probably one of the greatest national championship games of the last 10 years against Georgia and Alabama, that comeback by Alabama. So that's why everyone shits on UCF. It has nothing to do with the team might be good, the players might be good, but when you hang that banner up and you hold parades and you hold everything, sorry, you're not the national championship, and you got the taste of, you're still a small guy. So you kind of like gave them a backhanded compliment in the sense like, hey, they're going to play well, but hey, you're still a little guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So that is,
I think we have a chance to prove it this year. So
yeah, so that is our picks for the Power 5 or Power 4, I should say, and the small guy trying to make it to the light.
Trey, I don't know what happened this week. I really don't, because let me tell you gentlemen a story. Let me give you some details of something that Trey has provided us with. Here's the story of Cam McCormick, a Miami Hurricanes tight end entering his 9th year in college. Trey did mention it, but I'm going to tell you why it's his 9th year in college. So, 2016, as Trey said, class of 2016, he redshirts at Oregon while recovering from a knee injury. So, doesn't play that year. 2017, he's hospitalized with 2 other players after their muscles started breaking down following high-intensity off-season workouts. Due to this, the Oregon strength and conditioning coach is suspended, and the school is later sued by the other 2 players. McCormick decided not to sue and played in all 13 games that season. So 1 season down. 2018, he tears his deltoid tendon and breaks his fibula, ending his season after 1 game. 2019, a screw in his ankle to stabilize the previously torn ligament and fibula fails, causing another fracture. The doctors originally misdiagnosed it as a stress fracture, so he didn't immediately get surgery and just went on bed rest. He attempts to play through the pain in week 3, but is unable to and has season-ending surgery. 2020, COVID year. His ankle hurts during training camp, and what was originally thought to be tendinitis in the ankle is actually a posterior tibial tendon rupture caused by 2 screws that had been inserted during a prior ankle surgery. He then undergoes major ankle reconstruction, ending another season. 2021, he manages to play all of week 1. He was on special teams, but then tears his Achilles in week 2. Another season lost. 2022, he's finally healthy and plays all 13 games, starts 6 of them, makes 10 catches, and has 3 touchdowns. That brings us to the last 2 years. Having already earned his master's degree, he transfers to Miami. There, he does undergraduate coursework to this day to stay in school, and plays in all 13 games with 11 starts and 8 catches last year in 2023. Going into this year, the ACC granted him his 9th year, and upon doing so, he became the only known player to ever receive it.
Yo, this man family better have some money bags, because just going to Miami just to do undergrad classes, just to pay $85,000 a year, just to play your 9th year, like, what the fuck are you thinking?
Probably on scholarship.
Why would you scholarship a 9th year player who only seems to go down with a busted ankle in week 3? Why would you waste a scholarship on him?
Because it's fun to say.
Because he's big.
I ain't wasting that.
He's big for no damn reason, bro. I'd hit him in the face and walk away, because I know he'd probably tear his ACL or something, like trying to run after me. What the fuck? Like, no. Like, I don't care how big you are. Like, you're big for no damn reason.
Go to Liberty and be the damn man on campus.
Be the damn coach. Damn, I mean, that's crazy.
Oh, right.
So is he about to turn 28 this year?
Yes.
Yeah. He's like 27, 28, yeah.
Yeah, so...
FSU once had a 27-year-old lead.
Well, ESPN went to NFL this year and offered an awesome opportunity for people that can't afford the full NFL ticket season but want to watch their favorite NFL team. It was $70 team packages, and the NFL turned it down. The chief media officer said, "Oh, well, we don't want to lose out on the full fan experience." No, you don't. Be honest. You want the money. And that's okay, because you're a business and you're running a business. And it's just like any other network. The MLB network is the same way, NHL, and as well as the NBA. It's a business and they want to make money. Now, who wants to have the everyday fan be happy and be able to watch their team in a zone that they can actually watch it? This reminds me of the MLB network, that if you buy the MLB network, you spend the whatever amount per month, I think it's $34, you can get any game you want. But the caveat is you can't live in that city that your team is. So if you live in New York and you're a Yankees fan, you cannot watch any Yankees games unless it's on the opposing team broadcast. And even that's blacked out sometimes. So you have to live outside the city of your favorite teams to get the games. That's just the story of sports. It's a business, and that's what it comes down to. Teams... The NFL, the MLB, the NHL, the NBA are greedy. They want their money, and they don't care if they're ripping off the everyday fan, because they know the fans are going to spend it anyways. Whether it's in the box office, whether it's on TV, whether it's whatever. Look at the NFL. They have Peacock and Netflix, ESPN, NBC, ABC. You name it, they have it. And you have to pay for each of these subscriptions to have it. So I'm not surprised that the NFL turned it down. People are going to still buy the NFL ticket on YouTube TV. They're still going to buy it on the App Store for $600 to $700, whatever it costs. So, at the end of the day, nice try, ESPN, but it ain't going to happen. Never gets old, Mike's mind. Make sure you guys are tuning into it. He's the brain of the group. So, but let's take it to the professional ranks. We're not going to do any previews until next week, but we're going to award some players. And how we're going to do it, we're just going to run through our list. We're going to run through the five list of awards. So the MVP, the Defensive Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and the Comeback Player of the Year. And we're just going to run right through it. Each of us are going to go one right after the other. Say who you are, say who you have for each of them. So I'm going to throw it down to Trey Day. Who is your five?
Can we work up and do MVP last?
No, you're gonna read every single one of them.
Oh, just read off all your five. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I got. Let's see. Okay. So for MVP, I have who other than Patrick? Michael Jordan Mahomes. Y'all would have expected, of course. Mm-hmm. Okay. So moving on, defensive Rookie of the Year. I'll go next. I know I shitted on Clemson, but I actually want to take Nate Wiggins. I think he's gonna have a good year out there in Baltimore. Good defense, you're not asked to do too much. As a side note, wouldn't expect this. You know what my dark horse actually is? Jalen Colson, University of Michigan. Harbaugh got him. He can go hybrid that guy, and he already knows the system. But we're going to go with Nate Wiggins to actually win this. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Caleb Williams. I mean, he's gonna have to fucking throw. He's gonna have no choice but to throw. The Bears will upgrade a lot of the offense, so we're gonna go with Caleb there. Defensive Player of the Year, he's due. TJ Watt, give the man a fucking award. Stop trying to cheat this man. This man is due for like 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards, and Aaron Donald's gone, so that's at least one guy out the way. Comeback Player of the Year, I'm going to go with Ant Richardson. Unfortunately, rookie year got cut short. He's explosive. They're going to once again have no choice but to throw with that team. And he's also going to give you a lot of yards in the run game as well. And people like excitement. This guy, I'm not saying the Colts whether they'll win or lose, but damn well they're going to be exciting to watch as long as he's on the field, if he can stay healthy. Mm-hmm. So that's my awards for this year.
All right. Well, I don't disagree with the MVP. I think the MVP is, it's hard. It's like when I was looking at that, it's like, how can you go against him? Because it's like, even if he has 5,000 yards passing, he's still gonna get it, right? Or 4,000 or 3,500. There's some way give it to him. But I'm gonna run through my list. So my list is gonna start with the MVP, and that is gonna be the man who is from Cincinnati, and that's gonna be Joe Burrow. Joey B, I think, is gonna get it done. He brought back the team brought back T. Higgins, got Jamar Chase healthy. They got a good squad. I think Joe is going to have one of those years where we're going to be like, damn, okay, that's why they drafted him number 1 overall. Defensive Rookie of the Year, and I'm going to go with my boy out of the Philadelphia Eagles, Quinton Mitchell. I'm sorry. He is going to be a staple in that secondary, especially with C.J. Gardner-Johnson's back on the team. Big play Slay. You got a lot of guys, Reed Blankenship, and then you got Mike's boy, Cooper DeJean, in there. So I think he's going to make some huge plays where he doesn't really have to force himself to be the guy. He can sit back and play his game. Offensive Rookie of the Year, I'm hopeful it's not going to be a quarterback, but it's going to be. But I'm going to go with Marvin Harrison Jr. I feel like he's just going to have Kyler's just going to throw it up to him, and he's just going to – basically, Kyle McCord is Kyler Murray in the NFL, and basically just going to throw it up to Marvin Harrison Jr., going to dominate. Defensive Player of the Year, I was going to go TJ Watt, but I feel like this guy's due. He's had great seasons. He's been dominant, and I hate to say it, but he plays for the freaking Cowboys, and that's Micah Parsons. He's been there for the last few years, but, you got to give credit where credit's due. Comeback Player of the Year, I'd love for it to be Ant Richardson, but we all know who's going to be the man in New York, and that's going to be Aaron Rodgers. Because if he completes the season, throws for 5,000 yards, Jets get the number 2 seed, it's going to be him. So that's my list.
I thought about it. I just don't trust that man to make it through the season. We'll talk about
I don't either if he makes it through the season. If he makes it through the season.
They're going to hand it to him because
of the comeback story, right.
Yeah,
so
right.
All right, Grandpa Jay. Who you got?
Well, MVP, you guys know I've been high on this Chiefs three-peat. If that's the case, then Patrick, Michael, Jeffrey, Jordan, Mahomes has to be the guy who's going to be taking home another MVP award. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Love the FSU kid, Jared Verse. I think he walks into a great situation in LA where I know he has to replace an icon, but the defense is set up for that already. The guy's an animal. He's young. He's ready to show off his stuff. He's going to come into the league and make a statement. Offense Rookie of the Year. The Bears have set this up for Caleb Williams to win it. I mean, the guy has enough weapons around him to hopefully not end up looking like our guy from Carolina last year. And we know the line isn't great, but I don't think we're going to have a situation where they're wondering if they should have taken Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams instead. I think Caleb lives up to the potential and the hype here. So let's have him as the winner of Offensive Rookie of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year. I did want to go with your boy TJ, but I can't see him not sustaining another injury. And even though his numbers are going to be great, because he's not going to have the body of work that Myles Garrett has, I think Myles Garrett ends up winning it. So I just feel like the Cleveland Browns are in a position to be an even better defense. And after what happened in Houston last year, I guarantee you those guys are coming into this season with a huge chip on their shoulders because they got wiped off the field. I know we didn't mention Offensive Player of the Year, but if I had to choose one, it's Breece Hall. If he stays healthy, I think the guy's an animal. And that's why your guy might win Comeback Player of the Year because of Breece Hall making him look better. But I'm taking your MVP, John, Joe Cool Burrows, who's going to have himself a year this year. I think he's second on the list right now in terms of the odds to win it. So I'm taking Joe Cool as my Comeback Player of the Year.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I didn't even think about that, but that makes a good point because he did go out in week 4. So, Mike, who you got? Run through your list.
So, for MVP, while it is difficult to say no to Patrick, Michael Jordan, Mahomes, I'm going to go with somebody that I'm pretty high on, and that is CJ Stroud. I think CJ Stroud might win it because I've talked about how much I'm in on the Texans this year, and I just think he impressed me last year, and I think he can get it done again this year, and I think he'll get recognized for it. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'm actually going to take it over to the seemingly cursed franchise, the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to go with Dallas Turner. I think he's going to be all over the field for them. I think he's going to be in on both, coverage, and he's going to be able to sack the quarterback. I think he's going to put up big numbers this year, especially on a defense that really needs somebody like him. So I think Dallas Turner is going to get that done this year. Offensive Rookie of the Year, as much as it probably is going to be Caleb Williams, I would like to also not see it be a quarterback. And I also think it's going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. I think other than Trey McBride, who else does Arizona have for Kyler to throw the ball to, especially when he gets flushed out of the pocket? Yeah. Harrison's besides the other team, yes. But as far as guys that can get open for Kyler when he gets flushed out of the pocket, as I'm sure he will many, many times, it's Harrison. So I think being that security blanket for Kyler is going to put him over the top as far as offensive rookie. Defensive Player of the Year. I apparently am the only one that's going to take it away from the D-line. I have a funny feeling it may end up going to Sauce Gardner this year. I think he's ready for the statement season of I am by far the best corner in this league. He's already been high on their tackles list the last couple seasons. He's surprisingly did not have a pick last year. I don't think that's going to be the case this year. I think he's going to have multiple picks this year, and he will be an anchor on a very good Jets defense. And as far as comeback,
I don't think he's going to get multiple picks. Like, see, I think what happens with guys like that and happen to Revis, people just aren't going to throw at him.
Revis Island was not picked.
If you look at Revis that year, when they went to the playoffs, he had I think 3 total interceptions, and that was just because they would not throw in his direction. And that's the hard part with cornerbacks winning.
It's just hard.
I get what you're saying though, because that ultimately should put him in the running for defensive player of the year. Because if you're not getting thrown to, that means that you're doing something right.
But because we're scared of you. But
so
then you also get punished for being so talented that people are running.
Right.
Going the opposite way because everybody's, oh no, that's not, we're done. We're not doing that way.
All right, Mike.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
Who's your comeback?
No, you're fine.
Who's coming back?
The comeback player of the year is unfortunately very obvious this season. It doesn't matter what Burrow does. It doesn't matter what Ant does. So long as Aaron Rodgers finishes the year, I don't even think it matters what kind of numbers he puts up.
Bullshit, bro. It's so cool.
They'll give it to him.
No chance.
No, I don't think that. If the Jets go 6-10 or 6-11 and end up, which won't happen, right? But if they do that and he has 2,900 yards, he's not getting it, right? But if he finishes year at least decent, 3,500 to 4,000 with 30 touchdowns, and it's an easy runaway with him.
I guess I'm exaggerating. It does matter, obviously. If he has an absolutely dog shit season, they won't give it to him. But I think if he's average, to slightly above average minimum, they'll give it to him because it's Aaron Rodgers. Like you guys said, it's the story. It's look at future Hall of Famer. He came back from an Achilles tear and blah. Even Burrow's, I think, gonna be a better quarterback than him by far this season, and Ant might too. The way he seems to be progressing in that Colts offense, that like you said has to throw, but it's Rodgers. I feel like they're gonna find a way to give it to him if they can.
So everyone agrees that Kirk Cousins is not gonna get this award.
Nope. Because Kirk Cousins might not be starting by midseason.
I don't even trust him. Yeah, I don't trust him to be starting.
Here's the thing, too, right? If you do not want to piss your money away and you want to bet on MVP, you guys should know this already. The last 12 MVPs have been quarterbacks. And in the last 18 seasons, only one player has managed to steal that award away from quarterbacks. And that is none other than Trey's guy, Mr. AP, Adrian Peterson.
Yeah. AP was that was the one year they had no choice. He was so good they had no choice but to hand the damn award.
So don't get cute, guys. The MVP is going to be a quarterback. Oh, Yannick. Yes, I'm talking about the current number 1 player in the world on the men's side of tennis, Yannick Skinner, who has somehow avoided a doping ban after he successfully argued that not 1 but 2 failed anti-doping tests that took place back in March had been the result of contamination through his physiotherapist, Giacomo Naldi. Following an independent tribunal, a panel ruled that Sinner bore no fault or negligence for twice testing positive for trace amounts of the banned substance, clostebol, which, if you guys didn't know what it is, it's an anabolic steroid derived from testosterone. However, he was fined about $325,000 and 400 ranking points from the Indian Wells tournament earlier this year in March. Keep in mind that Sinner is from Italy, and this stuff is available over the counter without a prescription as a topical cream or spray used for dermatological uses, and that is known as trophodermin. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Clothball has led to the suspension of a number of athletes in various sports, including D. Gordon and Fernando Tatis Jr. back in 2022, of whom the latter accepted the suspension as a result of not checking the ingredients of medication he was using for ringworm. However, the whole hypocrisy of this really lies in the fact that other pro tennis players who have been accused of testing positive for banned substances have waited months or even years to get clearance. And they all share Sinner's innocence of not knowing what they ingested or what they used, and they didn't know it was a banned substance. Yet some remain suspended, and it took months, like I said. However, the world number one was treated different because we know he's now the face of men's tennis. Shocker. Who would have thought they would treat him different than the other players? But here's the bottom line, all right? The responsibility must always be on the athlete to ask the right questions about any medication to become better informed of whether these ingredients might get you suspended because you will fail a drug test. To avoid something that could tarnish your reputation, just ask questions. And I don't want to hear it. If you're the world number one in something, you better be asking the most damn questions because all eyes are going to be on you. And you're going to be lucky if this doesn't end up tarnishing your reputation.
For those that aren't aware, the Los Angeles Angels, though they may be a terrible baseball team at the moment, do have one bright spot, and his name is Ben Joyce. He's a relief pitcher that they drafted out of the University of Tennessee. He's been up and down with some control issues, but the one thing he's never had an issue with is throwing the shit out of the ball. The dude is a flamethrower. Recently, Bobby Witt Jr., who is one of the favorites to win MVP, struck out against Joyce on the following speeds: 105, 105, and 103. Now, I know in today's MLB, a lot of guys can throw hard, but it's the consistency with which Mr. Joyce throws hard that is incredible. The fact that he seems to be able to, immediately entering the game, reach at least 102 or 103 and then just sit there. They say his average fastball is about 99 miles an hour. I think that's a little bit of BS because I've never seen him throw under 100. I personally would like him to be on the Yankees, and I think any fan would like him to be on their team because the human blink is 93 miles per hour, and he's throwing almost 10 miles per hour faster than that. So I can't wait to see how good Ben Joyce can really be, and I hope, for the Angels' sake, they make him their closer full-time because God knows they need it.
All right, well, we
predicted
the awards here. Let us know if we're wrong, if we're right, if we're not. But I know one thing we are right about is that we have episode 125. You know what that means. We have to crown a champion. So it's time for Stump the Squad Championship. Grandpa Jay, take it away.
Well, we have come to season 2. This is the end of season 2 here. We have reached episode 125, and tonight we'll crown, hopefully not a new champion, because I'm in the mood to go back to back, baby. So if you guys have been playing along, you know the drill. Play along with us. Don't cheat. Don't look at your phone. See if you honestly know trivia. We know it all, but hey, we might let you win this. Who knows? If you get it right, give yourself 2 points. If you get it wrong, give yourself -2. Obviously, comment, like, subscribe, and let us know that you are smarter than us after playing Stump the Squad with us. Since it's been working for the last couple weeks there, trade day, you know how it's going to go. You know I was coming straight to you because I just believe sometimes, like Rafael Nadal, just do the same thing over and over again. You might get the same result because superstition sometimes does work. So you go first.
Okay, I got to make sure I win here. All right, John, let's do this. What is Carmelo Anthony's middle name? No, I'm just kidding.
Ohio State, Michigan coming together.
You don't know.
I'll probably get it wrong. I have no idea.
Carmelo Anthony.
What was the final score of the Syracuse National Championship?
81-78. Next.
I know it's a fucking good Syracuse question. All right, we got to stay on top. We got to stay right.
You know, that's the one number that I always remember is 81-78. Like anytime I see it in basketball, I'm like, oh, that was a national championship.
Yep.
All right.
You guys ever do that? I'll be winner.
For that question. Okay, it's football season. So, let's see. All right, we're going to go to NFL here. Let's talk about some guys fumbling in football. Kerry Collins and Dante Culpepper are tied for the most fumbles in a single season. How many fumbles did they have? 23, 24, 25, or 26?
25.
5. Ooh, Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
24. I bet he gets
Okay,
a
so we have
giant.
25 from John, 25 from Jay, 24 from Mike.
Yeah.
Today, I have successfully stumped the squad. That's what we started.
23.
Damn.
23.
Ah.
23.
Did Collins do it as a giant?
He was a giant, yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
Culpepper was a Viking.
No, I just assume.
Who's
It's
next,
a Giants
Trey?
quarterback.
Mike. Yeah, let's go, Mike.
He loves throwing it to me. We're on the same wavelength. Hopefully it doesn't carry over here. Jesus.
Well, you hope
okay.
it does because you get him wrong.
I hope we're not on the same wavelength because then he'll know the answer.
Oh, okay, yeah, that way. Yeah.
If he's reading my mind, he'll know the answer.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
What's on Mike's mind?
What's on Mike's mind?
Grapes.
Exactly. Green grapes, to be specific. They're in the fridge. 3 teams are tied for the most players to win the AP Comeback Player of the Year. Which of the following is not one of those teams? A, the Colts. B, the Bengals. C, the Patriots. Or D, the 49ers.
Have not won?
So, 3 of those teams are tied for the most times winning the AP Comeback Player of the Year. Which one isn't tied?
Bengals. The Bungles.
Okay.
What was the 4 choices again?
The 49ers.
Colts, Bengals, Patriots, or 49ers?
The Bungalows.
Patriots.
All right, so we got a Patriots, we got a Niners, and we got a Bengals. So, this week I have successfully stumped.
Wait. I haven't given you my answer yet.
Yes, you did.
He did.
What did I say?
Patriots.
He's a 49ers.
I said Patriots.
Or you said the Niners.
No, he said who was the 4th choice. I said the 49ers. He asked.
I said what was the choices. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Sorry, I thought you were saying the Niners. My bad.
Yeah, I thought
No. I'm gonna go with the Bengals.
The Bungles.
Okay. So that makes 2 Bungles and a Patriot.
Yeah.
This week I have successfully stumped
Trey.
It is the Bungles.
It is the Bengals.
I knew it was the Colts. I knew it was the Pats, but I don't know if it was the Niners or Bengals.
So for everyone that doesn't know, I am eliminated from this challenge from season 2. Trey has to get it right, or I have to win, or Trey has to win. Or to tie them, Jamie or Mike has to tie to go to a tiebreaker to win.
No, if Mike or I win, we tie with Trey, and then we have to
correct. That's what. Yeah,
right.
correct. That's what I said. Is if you 2 win, you tie with Trey. But if Trey wins or I win, Trey wins. So the scores read: Mike at -2, Jamie at 0, me at 0, and Trey at -2.
Oh.
Mike, who's next?
I'll go to you, John.
Oh, you gotta go to Jamie, so I'd be the last one.
You know what? Actually, that's a good point. Jamie, go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. Maybe I throw you a little. Maybe I'll throw you a little knuckleball right here because I'm gonna stick with baseball. Okay, I'm gonna stick with baseball here. Can you guys tell me which bullpen has been the best in August so far this season? Meaning they've had the lowest ERA in the month of August. Is it A, the Cleveland Guardians, B, the Tampa Rays, C, the Houston Astros, or D, the Brew Crew from Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Brewers?
Houston.
Do you guys need to hear those answers again, or are we all good?
I need to hear the 4 answers again.
All right. The Guardians, the Rays, the Astros, or the Brewers?
What does it look like in the game planet? Guardians.
Shit, that's what I was gonna say. think the best all year has been Cleveland, but
You can still go with them. But actually work
I know, but that that keeps us tied. Yeah, I'm gonna go with my gut and say Cleveland.
Gentlemen, with a 1.58 ERA, I have successfully stumped all of you because it is the Tampa Bay Rays in the month of August.
I know the Guardians have been there most of the year, so I'd say fucking go with the team that knows how to bullpen all year.
So it comes down to this. Where can Grandpa J tie them? Mike is... So it's now -4 for Mike, -4 for Trey, 0 for Grandpa J, and -2 for me. So...
They have to get it right.
They have to get it right.
We both have to get it right.
But if I get it right, I automatically...
If you get it right, you're the winner. You're tied. And I do have a tiebreaker for that. So
okay.
Let me pull that up in case we get to there. So...
Well, go ahead.
They get it. I got 3-way tie where I was like, it's going to be a couple of times.
No, I was pulling my question.
Oh, I thought
you better have a backup one, too.
No, I'm pulling out my question. Did I ask you?
What I'm trying to say is that if they get it right and I get it wrong, first we have to have a tiebreaker for this show. And then if Trey doesn't win, then we have to have another tiebreaker.
I know. I got you. Don't worry. I'm already prepared. So the Indiana Hoosiers have not won a postseason game since 1991, 1993, 96, or 07.
What are the choices again?
91.
And they haven't won a tournament game since this year.
Hold on. They have not won a postseason game, a bowl game of any sorts, since what year? 91, 93, 96, or 2007?
96.
96. Well, I guess we both want to say, but I guess we're going to ride this out together.
93.
Mike?
96.
I seem to remember them saying like last year was 30 years.
96 and 90. Who said? So we got a 96 from Trey and Mike, and a 93 from Jamie.
Yeah.
I have successfully stumped the squad.
Yeah.
It is a tie game though. Still, it is 1991. So it is.
Play me the winner of this week first, please.
You're not the winner of this week.
You two were tied.
I'm tied with you.
You're tied with him.
I'm tied with you, Jay. So you're not the winner yet. So now I have -2.
Right.
Huh?
Which question did you get right?
Mike's.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all both were at 0. Y'all two are tied.
We got that number. Yeah.
I was at -2 at this.
Damn it.
Now you.
So now Trey is on the back of a miss. Come on, Trey. Come on. I got you, buddy. I got you.
He has to count on a Michigan fan.
To win him. So who's got the tiebreaker?
Mike, did you have one or no?
I have.
Oh, boy, Jamie.
So you may have noticed.
Okay, so if Jamie gets it right,
we have a tiebreaker.
We need another tiebreaker. Do you have another tiebreaker?
I can. I have.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead with your tiebreaker though.
Okay.
I got one.
Yeah, so we were across that
bridge.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. So with my initial question, you may have noticed I did not tell you how many times the tie is for. So my question is this. The Colts, Patriots, and 49ers are tied with how many AP comeback players of the year?
Total?
Right, for each team. They're tied at how many times that each team has had a player win. How many times is it that they're tied at?
So it's not adding them together, right?
No, it's not adding them together. It's just how many.
What are they tied at? What's the number that they're tied at?
Right, the number of players they're tied at.
I'm going to say 2.
Bro, are you sure you didn't say 3?
You did say 3.
Yeah, you said the answer.
You said 3. That's all I was
tied 3 times.
No, I said 3 teams are tied.
You said 3 teams.
Oh, I thought you said 3 times. Okay, see, that's why
I'm going to say.
When we did the question, I thought you said 3 times, even back when that question
No, 3 teams are tied.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'm going 2.
I'm on Price is Right his ass. 3.
And we need another tiebreaker. It is
It's
3.
It's 3.
No, it's 3 on the dot.
I was
All
on
right,
this 3.
so
Yeah.
I have one right here. So it's going to be
Your week 125 winner, Grandpa J. Yeah.
But the more important winner is yet to be decided.
So here it is right here. For all the marbles between Trey and Grandpa J, they're tied at 7. The Ohio Bobcats have the longest group of 5 conference title drought. How many years is the drought?
But you said conference title drought?
Group of 5 conference title drought.
Jesus.
So how many years?
So how many years since they've had a title?
Conference title.
56.
Where was I gonna go here? Let's think about this. Okay, so in 1902. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to go with 60.
We have a winner, gentlemen, of episode 125, season 2 of Stump the Squad. And that winner is, he must be hitting the jackpot on his bets because Grandpa J is back-to-back champion. He nailed it on the dot.
56?
On the dot, 56. I could not, I was trying to hold my smile in.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
I never would have a shot.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Come on, boy.
So Grandpa J wins episode 125.
Yeah, boys. You know, I was watching this the other morning, just telling myself it's gonna be so nice when I get to wear this around my head when I win episode 125. I mean, guys,
Grandpa J makes a notorious comeback. He was down to 1.
Comeback player of the year. Damn it.
He was
Yes, he's
at
comeback player of
1
the
win about 2 months ago, and now he is the champion back-to-back. And season 3 starts next week, so make sure you tune in. Wow, what a comeback! What a comeback!
What? No, I'm Kirby Smart. This shit ain't happening again. Season 3 is mine. I'm staking my claim right now. It's mine.
Yeah, I'm gonna wake up every day. Mike's gonna be in the living room.
This is exciting, bro. When you hit that on the nose, I was trying so hard not to smile. I even texted Mike. I was like, he nailed it.
I knew he was close. I didn't have
Bro, I swear, as soon as you said the question, 1967 popped up in my head. I'm like, just go with it.
I knew it was around there. See, with John, you realize you to that question. My mother went to Ohio University. I knew she said they sucked when she was there, so I was trying to do the math.
That's why I picked that question for my second tiebreaker.
Bro, you know what's crazy, Trey?
I was hoping you would.
At school, I almost went to Ohio University.
Wow.
Yeah, I almost went there. I knew they sucked, and my mother said they sucked the whole time, and they hadn't won even before she got there. So I was trying to do the math, and I said somewhere. I knew it was somewhere between 52 to 62 years. So I was like, I know he's gonna be close.
So congratulations, Grandpa J. You are the winner, back-to-back champs. Season 3 starts next week, and you know what else starts next week? College football is back on Thursday night when our show drops. Make sure you guys are tuning into our show while you're watching college football, because why not? You can listen while watch, right? You can do both, multitask. Then we got the NFL starting the week after that, and it's on like Donkey Kong. So let's get it going. Thanks for tuning in. Cinco Squad Pod 05. Make sure you tune in. All NFL and college football season. We'll be going live, talking shit about your teams, and you can talk shit back. Grandpa J's back-to-back champs. We'll see you guys here next week for episode 126 and episode 1 of season 3 of Stump the Squad. So see you next week, guys.